Whenever we're going through any struggle in life, there's 6 things we need to do.
In your life, have you ever failed in a negotiation?
Anyone can do anything because you're dealing with people and everyone's different. People are different. Now try and think of something. You can't.
Yeah, I can't think anything.
No. Clears your head of all thoughts.
You've been into multiple situations, like normal people cannot really handle it.
Can I stop you there?
Are you negotiating the price for your dream home, or asking for a salary rise, or maybe buying a car and trying to get the best deal? No matter what the situation is, negotiation skill is something that you cannot afford to ignore. Today, we are joined by Lance Brunett, a former crisis negotiator with 22 years of experience. He worked with New Zealand police, trained alongside the FBI, and handled some of the most high-pressure situations imaginable. In this episode, Lance will share some practical strategies for mastering negotiation, staying calm under pressure, and communicating like a pro. This is a knowledge you can use on everyday life. Don't miss it. Let's welcome Lance. Welcome, Lance. Welcome to show. How is your day?
Yeah, no, it's been a busy day. All my days are busy, and it's good to be busy, but sometimes it's getting towards the end of the year and you start to get tired. Yes, but it's good to be busy.
Before we start anything, can you give us a journey of your life being an expert, a negotiator, right?
Yeah, so I joined the police at the age of 35. I was a builder before then, and I always wanted to have a career in the policing, and so I joined the police, I guess, for certainty, because construction industry, it's so uncertain. You're job to job to job, and I just wanted that little bit of certainty for my family. I had a growing family, 3 children, so I joined the police at 35, and suddenly, sort of after about 2 years, fell into crisis negotiating. I attended a job where the armed offender squad. So whenever the armed offenders go out, so do the negotiators. And I was looking at them and thinking, gee, they look pretty cool. They got like flat gear and the helmets and the guns. And I was just sitting next to a car, and I said to my sergeant, "Who are they?" And he said, "Oh, they're the negotiators. What do they do?" "Oh, they're talking to the people in the house."
Okay.
Oh, and that's just that little seed, and I forgot about it, and then all of a sudden, I saw the application come through, applied, and before I knew it, I was in charge of all the negotiators across New Zealand. So I became the lead negotiator for New Zealand Police,
That's quite
and managed to go to the FBI and qualified as an FBI negotiator as well. So had a very I guess enjoyable time, if that's a word you can use, because a lot of the times it is very stressful.
Okay. What was that moment that you thought, okay, this is going to be my career? The negotiation is something that I'm looking forward to doing my whole life. What was that moment, and what sparked it?
There never was that moment. I have never had a moment where I've gone, yes. So I've always had goals, and I've always had, I'm heading here in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So I've always been one that had goals but never achieved them.
Okay.
Not when they were due, or not in the way that I thought they would. My idea of joining the police was to, and in fact, I didn't even join it to become a detective. So I ended up being a detective inspector. So I'm quite high in the police. But it's one of those things that you suddenly realize, when I got there, this is what I was meant to do. And it wasn't really until one of the worst situations that New Zealand police have found themselves in, where a police officer had been shot and killed, and 2 other had been shot, and a neighbour had been shot as well, and it was the Napier siege. But it was after that event that I suddenly realised that this is where I belong. This is, we always try, crisis negotiators try and get people out of a situation. In this instance, it didn't happen. He took his own life. And at the time, it really hit all of us hard. And then from there, we had another one in the Mount Eden and Perimeter prison. So we've had some quite big negotiations, but it's not until you sort of arrive that you realize that's where you're supposed to be, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's not until you actually get there and you think, this is what I've been, this is my life.
Today's video is brought to you by Multiwing Solutions. At Multiwing, They craft custom engineered solutions that power progress across industries. Precision, reliability, and innovation defines everything they do. Join them on the journey where innovation meets excellence. Multiving Solutions, where your vision takes flight.
You've been through all these really high pressure environments, right?
Mm.
You've been into multiple situations like normal people cannot really handle it.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
I'm a normal person. And this is, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this is the thing for me. I'm a bit different though. I think differently.
Yeah.
Right. So my brain is wired a bit differently. Anyone can do anything.
Yeah.
They just need to put their mind to it and believe, and to just follow their intuition, follow their heart as well. I talk about a lot. And so if we can get ourselves to any position, we're able to do it. So I've never, people call me an expert, and I'm very grateful for that, but I'm afraid to say that. I am a normal person, and I still can't believe the amount of things that I've done in my life. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but you'll find I do that a lot.
I think I agree on that, but like
Yeah.
mindset is everything.
That is.
And even in like the worst situation, if your mind believes that it's nothing, I believe with all they say, easy, smooth transition is gonna happen.
That's it.
What I was trying to say, because you have so much experience in this industry, right?
Yes.
The way you think is different from other people thinks, right? So I want to understand or give us a story that you really understand the negotiation skill is really powerful.
Oh, there's so many incidents that I could recall on that. It really is about thinking on your feet and coming up with. So the one thing that negotiators focus on is how can we get everybody safely out of the situation, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done. That's the number one reason. So how can I do that? Whether it's somebody standing on a bridge who wants to, jump off and take their life, or whether it's a barricaded person with a firearm and drunk, or whether it's a hostage situation. The idea is to get everybody out safely. That's the number one rule.
Like, but win-win for everyone.
Everybody that's there, the person, the offender, if there's people in the house, other people to get them out safely. It doesn't matter who it is, so that the whole incident is resolved without anyone being hurt or harmed. That's the number one goal. But you're faced every time with situations that they are evolving, and you don't know personalities. You don't know who you're talking with. So you've got to be able to think on your feet. And there's been any number of situations where walking into Paramaribo prison when there was a prisoner took another prisoner hostage, and I was told to go forward and be the negotiator. And when I walked forward and when I came around and saw who it was, I realized that he had spotted me for a police officer. No matter how you dress, police officers. Yeah. So what can I do here? And I just suddenly there was somebody already talking to him. So I thought, right, I'll brief that person. He can come back and I'll negotiate through that person. Another instance where somebody was wanting to take their own life, and they'd been involved in a complex situation and they were going to be arrested. Now, when you're negotiating, you're looking for the hook, the thing to keep the person going, and avoid the trigger, the cause of what their thought is. For this person, the hook and the trigger were the same, his children. And so I'm thinking, well, I can't really focus on his children because they're also the trigger. So, well, you are going to have to go to prison. But if you get rehabilitated, then you will be able to see your children in the future.
Okay.
So you've got to continually think on your feet the whole time. There's a structure that comes to it, but you have to have thinking about how do I use that structured way of talking with somebody to get to the end goal. And that's where all good negotiators are. They take their time, they slow things down, and they just methodically work through a process, almost like a game of chess.
Okay.
And where you're looking 2 or 3 moves ahead. That's what negotiating is about.
Finding the right spot.
Finding the right spot to be here now so that you're setting up for
The future steps.
for the few steps, and then you say, yeah, so just going back to what I said to you earlier, and they get it.
Ah.
And so you're just slowly drawing them out to your,
The-
into back into the world. Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to the FBI time. Your
Yes.
time that you spend on learning the elite skills of negotiating. How was it like? How was the journey look like? What kind of skills they really help us to improve?
Yeah, so the skills of a crisis negotiator are taught internationally exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
So the purpose of going to the FBI was more about understanding terrorist situations, right?
Okay.
So terrorism was becoming quite big in the world. And so I wanted to go and talk about and find out, how do you negotiate with the terrorists, because we didn't have those skills in New Zealand. So the actual basic course, which is what I had to do, is the same as New Zealand.
Mm.
And it's the same as England, although England go a little bit harder with some of their. But the basic course is very, very similar. But each jurisdiction has unique challenges. So the FBI, they handle most crimes at a federal level. So bank robberies, hostage situations, anything of quite a high level, and terrorist situations. And so I wanted to learn that. But what I found out was, which I didn't know and I should have known, was that Americans don't negotiate with terrorists.
Okay. True.
So I then went for my second passion, which was suicide intervention. That's my passion, and that's where I enjoy doing it. And so when I went there, I learned a little bit more about how their methodology works. But look, it's one of those moments that you alluded to before, that those moments when you think, wow, I'm here. And so there's 20 FBI agents and 4 from America, different policing forces, and 4 internationals. And so you all come together, and I was sitting in the class, and it was like 3 in the afternoon, and I just looked around the room, and I just thought, how did I get here? This is Quantico. This is the FBI Academy.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here. And the funny thing was, at that moment, one of the FBI agents reached down and had an itch in his ankle, and it was his ankle holster where he has his firearm.
Oh.
And being an unarmed New Zealand police, unarmed police, I looked and went, and I said to the person next to me, why has he got a gun? He said, oh, we have to carry a gun 24 hours a day. We've all got them. He said, here. And I thought, I don't know whether I felt safer or more insecure. It was scary, right? But I just, talking with the FBI agents, amazing job they do. They are incredible people. You know, this is the thing about the FBI. They run on a very tight budget.
Yep.
So the negotiator has a truck load of guns.
Okay. Truckload of.
So if things don't go well with, I'll be right back. They'll go out and they go through the book. It is the most bizarre. That's the one thing I couldn't get my head around, because I know all negotiators are the same. We all want to make sure that person gets out safe.
Yeah.
But I said, why have you got a lease? He said, oh, we just don't do negotiating. We're also doing all sorts of other things. And he said, it's always there if we ever need it. In situations, they never do for a negotiation. It never ends that way unless something happens inside, and then they join the team to go in, which for me is a bit bizarre.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
if I know that, well, if it doesn't go as well as I hope, I've got, I'm going to go in anyway. I think that takes away the passion and the skill, and I'd rather much really push myself, and if it doesn't work, then go,
Okay.
I'm out of here.
All right.
And but yeah, very, very cool. What a privilege to be there. Wonderful
That's
people.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's really
wonderful.
good.
You know, you're training in a venue. It's called Hogan's Alley. It's a city there where no one lives.
Mm.
It's about 5 or 6 blocks, so it's a huge complex. If all the water works, everything works. but no one lives there. It's where they do their scenario training. And while you're training, there's helicopters. You know how you see on TV, FBI helicopters?
They're
They're there, and there's people hanging off them. Just like you see in the movies.
They got
And so
tactical training as well.
so that's where the hostage, they had something called the hostage rescue team. So they go with the negotiators. If the negotiating doesn't work, it's the HRT in the major situations that go through, and then the FBI agents follow. That's why they've got the gear. So they follow through afterwards. Just like you see in the movies. You know, you've seen 2 or 3 at the back when you think, why are they going in there? It's exactly like that. That's the way they train. But to look up and see 4 people hanging off a helicopter, all with firearms, while you're negotiating,
Wow.
it's just amazing.
Like a movie.
You know, you could think it was a movie. Absolutely.
That's good. So you've been into like really high pressure negotiation situations, right? Can you give us some strategies that you use to resolve conflicts or bring into a win-win solution?
Yeah, there's a couple of rules that I've since realized more than what I actually knew. So the first one is you must be in a good place yourself, right? So calming, slowing your breathing down.
Yeah.
So if you breathe out now, just breathe out. No, don't breathe in. Just breathe out. Now you're calm. When you breathe in, you go into a heightened state. When you breathe out, you become calm.
True.
So whenever you get into, you know, when you can't find your keys, breathe out.
Breathe out. Okay.
Oh, I left them there. Because we rush around trying to find them. So we're breathing in. So if you just keep yourself calm and then you slow breathe. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to go in with a bit of a plan. Now, I call it the long, lonely walk. When you're walking towards whoever it might be, a situation, your mind is going flat out. So slowing the breathing down and thinking, what's my goal to get everyone out? How am I going to do that? Let's just start with what's going on. And that's how you start your negotiation. So what's happening?
Understand.
So what's all this about? And you follow their lead.
Okay.
And you don't try and go too fast. You don't say, well, you know, so we when it's an armed situation, we always say your house is surrounded by armed police. So they know that for their safety, you know, and don't come out until I say. So that kind of has a little bit of a leverage there. Whereas in the real world, you don't have that leverage. So negotiating in the real world for everyone else, you know, whether it's negotiating a contract, is quite different. But the same concept is there. Make sure you don't rush. The slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Right? Slow yourself down, take your time, get a conversation going. 2 ears, 1 mouth. The other person should be doing all the talking, not you. It's not about you, it's about them.
Okay.
And you just keep asking them questions, open questions. So it's TEDS, tell me, explain to me, describe or show. So if you use those and you interact them, you're getting more, and the more you can get the other person to talk, the more relaxed they feel. And from there, you just then start to get to the resolution. So it's 3 stages. What's happening right now? What's going on in that house, wherever you might be? How did it all start?
Okay.
How do we get you out of there?
All right.
And that's the difficult one. How do you get them out of there? Now, the way to do that is you break it down into small parts. So it might be, well, look, you know, when you come out of there, you're always talking the positive. When you come out, why don't you just sit at the door for a while and wait? No one will touch you. Then when you're ready, you come out a bit further. So you break it down into smaller chunks for the person so that they are not rushed. It's controlling their fear more than anything else, because we are basically in control. We know what's going on. So that's the way it is. You know, never go in too hard. Never to say to somebody, we've got these things called bullet words. Never use, you know, words such as guns, bombs, death, kill. Never threaten. It's always about making it, when you come out, we will talk, using inclusive words.
Okay.
We will be there. I will be there for you, not immediately when you come out, but I will be there. So it's that reassurance part, and that's how we do the finish when you come out. So a lot of positive language, and really it's just time. They will eventually see. You've got to, if the more you ask somebody, they have to think. When you ask them questions, it's here. If they're in their limbic system, which is at the back, towards the back of the brain, that's the emotions. So the more questions you ask somebody, the more they have to think.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Oh.
And
Got
once
it.
they
So you
start
are
thinking,
you are
they
con-
realize where they are.
That's
how it works.
somewhat you are controlling the emotions.
That's where you must control the emotions.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Some persons are really emotional, some persons are really aggressive.
Right.
What are the some techniques we can make use of to handle them, in a better way?
When you have a bad day, where's the first place most people head to?
One of the common thing for everyone is negotiating salary with their employer.
Yes.
What are some best tricks that we can use?
So here's another one for you. If you want to clear your head of all thoughts, and everyone watching this can do it now.
How important is to understand the body language when you have a conversation or a negotiation or discussing something?
And a little secret that I do, and now everyone's going to know,